Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
I'm Joe Biggs with a special report for Infowars.com. Now, we just had a recent report put up by NBC News stating Afghan opium poppies hit record high despite $7 billion U.S. campaign. According to SIGAR's report, the value of the opium produced in Afghanistan reached $3 billion in 2013. That was a 50% increase from 2012. So there's definitely a lot more production of opium going on in Afghanistan. And as you can see on this map over here, all of Afghanistan is in some way involved in the production of opium. The ones in the red you can see are the most right now. That's on the border of Iran over here in Farah. And then over to the right, you've got Kabul right here on the Pakistan border. Those areas have gone up a lot in production. I was in the Coast Province just below that in the green right there. Production has decreased. And it's for a reason, because those guys are a lot more traditional. They are tribal leaders who are very anti-Taliban, very anti-Western in any kind of way. So when we would go in and ask them, basically, not me personally, but the higher powers that be, when they would go in and speak and ask these guys if they were willing to play ball, and they say no, their crops would be completely burnt down or destroyed in some kind of manner. So the ones who are willing to play ball are the ones who are going to have their production go up, like there and over here in Kabul as well. I've got some stories, personal stories as well, from being in Afghanistan, where we would be called out on these missions and be told not to ask any questions. We would have these OGA or other government agency type guys, full beard, decked out in all the coolest combat gear you could think of, and these guys would get put into our Humvees, and we would have to take them out on these missions. One of the days I remember very clearly is pulling up to an opium field, and these guys getting out and going to speak to the farmer. And meanwhile, we're sitting out here in our Humvees, manning 50 cals, trying to pull security for an opium field, and then sometimes you would see these OGA guys coming back saying, hey, destroy it all. Or sometimes they would say, all right, let's set up a perimeter and guard this. And those are the guys, that I assume that were willing to play ball with the Western countries and allow us to, do some kind of drug deal with that. We know our government's done that before.
In western Kandahar, poppy farmers score, till, harvest their crop, and the Americans do nothing to stop them.
I'll start pushing slow. Assalamu alaikum. I know that you care deeply about this contradiction, the fact that here you have one of the best fighting forces in the world ever mounted, and in a sense you're watching as this opium is being grown. I know it grinds at your gut. How do you deal with it? What are you doing about it?
Well, frankly, this is a part of their culture. So while it might grind in my gut, it's what they do.
We just saw the new movie, Kill the Messenger, that came out, where Gary Webb exposes how the CIA was bringing cocaine in and using Freeway Ricky Ross to, deal those drugs out into California. And there was this huge, crack cocaine epidemic that happened back then. So we know that our government gets involved with things like that, but it's just crazy. We're spending $7 billion to stop this production. Meanwhile, their production rate is going up. And now Afghanistan produces 90% of the world's opium. But then you've got the people who get addicted to them. They crush up the pills, snort them. They get addicted to heroin, injecting it, and it destroys a lot of lives as well. And our government's helping that out. It's mind-blowing to see how our country is willing to help put money in the pockets of people and others that want to destroy the American way of life. We're funding ISIS, we're doing all that, and once again, we're funding more drugs to be made, to be brought into our country to destroy American lives. So continue watching our reports on Infowars.com. I'm Joe Biggs.
Introducing the first proprietary oxygen-based intestinal cleanser, OxyPowder, backed by FDA-approved phase 1, 2, and 3 clinical trials. All the toxins from the air, the food, the water ultimately ends up in the gut or affects the gut. Take your health into your own hands and start cleansing your body today with OxyPowder. Secure your Oxy powder today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.